Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys game number 3 between PainUser, my good friend, and my cousin, Baby Pho. And so far, the Zerg player, operated by Pho, is ahead 2-0 in this series, and it is a best of 5. So we'll see what happens here in game 3. Baby Pho, the blue Zerg, at the bottom left-hand corner, has been bringing the Pho Special 2 games in a row. Now, first game, it was some heavy Zergling aggression. It wasn't an all-in or anything, but it was some heavy Zergling aggression on Atlantis spaceship, and it worked out pretty well for him. He was able to finally break on through and do some significant damage, and really the Broodlord's able to get him the victory eventually. Second game, just a straight all-in that PainUser actually held off really well, and I'll say this again, PainUser is just the kind of guy that has some impeccable micro, man. His micro is really world-class, top-notch, and that was one of the key reasons why he was able to somehow hold off the all-in. But then the tank rally was all foobarred because of the command center sitting in the way, so that was a bit unfortunate. And I think losing the tanks and then the banshees and all those heavy losses, finally just too much accumulated weight, breaking the eventual game of PainUser, and that was a bit unfortunate. So last game, obviously you see a weakness, you take advantage, you capitalize, and that's what he did. That's what the Zerg player did. I would do it too. I think many of us would. In a game of StarCraft 2, it's all about winning or nothing. And now we'll see what happens here. Game 3, and Antigua Shipyard, man, you could not ask for a better map, I think, for Terran. This is a great Terran map. Medevac drops they're like the symbol, the mantra of this map for TVZ. I mean, if you think about it, you've got all the bases are pretty much on the perimeter of the map, except for the ones in the middle. But most of the bases are on the perimeter, and then you've got these open gaps for Medevacs to just operate by everywhere. And so as Zerg, it becomes very prudent then to get your overlords into key positions. I like to have one here, and I like to have one here. That's pretty much the key spots to catch Medevacs moving out. And PainUser's a pretty good player when it comes to Medevac dropping as well. He'll probably look to take advantage of that this game. Look at this though. We have Baby Pho going for, wow, triple hatch. All triple hatch first before spawning pool, and it's kind of like a savior build almost from back in the days of Brood War. You get 3 hatches before spawning pool, and this is actually how you combat greed from Terran. And we can see, this is a good map for command center first. It's a very good Terran map. We can see PainUser went CC first, and really, in a way, I think Baby Pho kind of blind countering, going for a blind 3 hatch. But as soon as he sees a command center first, he is going to be so happy, man, because any build but command center first and the Zerg is in trouble. But now that he scouts it out, oh man, is he relieved that he went triple hatch, because this is, while it's wildly greedy, this is like greed upon greed. And even then, it's still going to work out beautifully for the Zerg player, because you keep that one base advantage, which is so important in this matchup. Now, look at that, he even comes on right now. I'm going to set myself to busy, but I'll let him know later on that I am casting his games. Pretty funny stuff right there. Hello, hello. And yeah, I think this is a very interesting strategy from Baby Pho. Obviously, he's going to look to eco up very hard here. And we might see some type of... The thing about this as well is I've seen some Zerg players go for the Broodlord all-in on 3 hatches as well on this map. On this map specifically, because it is a very hard map to play Zerg versus Terran on, just the way the map is designed. So sometimes a lot of Zergs will go all-in on this map. The 3-hatch Broodlord all-in is something we might just see from Baby Pho, and he's talked to me about this a couple times before. This is a build that he likes to use against Terran on this map. So just keep your eyes peeled. It is very likely that we will see that. Zergling now making its way across the map, just going to scout for that 3rd command center to check when it will come up. Lonely Marine comes up to the top left-hand side on an attack route. Will catch an Overlord here, and it looks like the first casualty will be this Overlord, which hurts pretty bad for Zerg. We can see that he's already queuing up 2 Overlords to, make up for the deficit of 1 falling, but it still kind of sucks to just lose it out in the random open skies like this to that Lonely Marine, and it will fall. And, just talking a little bit more about this game and how complex it is. And, I was mentioning earlier the 3 hatchery Broodlord all-in, build orders. That's a huge key component of winning in StarCraft 2. You got to know a lot of builds. You got to know how to counter build your opponent as well. You know, like I said, for example, at the beginning of this game, you saw the command center first. A good way to counter that, go triple hatch before spawning pool. You keep the greed going. You know a Terran player that command centers first is not going to come out with an attack of any sort for like 10 minutes plus. Maybe these Hellions, but really Queens are an excellent counter now, like I mentioned in the last cast. So, the counter builds and building against your opponent to win, that's how you beat players. And sometimes you even have blind counters happening. For example, Protoss players going one gate into robotics facility for fast immortals to counter the Stefano Roach max style. You know, it's all about an constantly evolving and shifting metagame in StarCraft 2, which, you know, it's going to completely turn on upside its head when Heart of the Swarm comes out. But still, man, it is a huge part about going to the next level. You are a good player when you're in Masters, but if you want to get to Grandmasters and beyond, you gotta start to study other players' builds and, you know, start to create your own as well. That's what can take you to the next level, kind of like Stefano. So creative and so innovative in the StarCraft industry. Look at this, so we have double factory for PainUser. Is he going to try to go mass Blue Flame Hellion here? I don't think he's going to go mech, obviously, because he's already got barracks and that starport down, but double factory, is he really going to go? I'm a little curious right now. There it is. So the Blue Flame upgrade is on the way. And, you know, the thing is, you know, normal Hellions are pretty much neutered now against Queens. Blue Flame Hellions can still be pretty effective if you can run by the Queens. This map, I think it's a little hard to get a run by successfully in. There are maps where you can run by Hellions pretty easily, but on this map, the Queens can just camp this location here, where we already see taking the liberty of just getting 1,000,000 Queens and Tumors, and it's very hard, I think, for Blue Flame Hellions to run by that many Queens, but we'll see what happens. And look at how many Tumors are coming out here. Another, you know, byproduct of just the new metagame of ZVT. Mass Queens. You get 4 Queens out here. You've got a Queen at each hatchery location as well. That is 7 Queens on the fields right now. And when you've got this many extra Queens, screw it. Build a bunch of creep tumors. It works. If a Terran comes and comsats you, you might lose some here or there, but you've got millions of other tumors to continue spreading the cancer. So, and for Zerg, cancer is obviously a good thing. So, yeah, it's good, I think, for Pho here. He's looking really strong into the macro game, but keep in mind, he still could go for that Brood Lord all-in, and look at this. Super fast Infestation Pit. My god, that's a very quick one. 10 minutes in here, and he's on 6 gases. Where's that Infestation Pit at? It is coming up right now. Very quick Infestation Pit. He's getting the Roach Warren and Spawning Pool, Roach Warren as well, just to get some Roaches on the field to maybe counter these Hellions, and it's going to be good, too, because now the Blue Flame has been revealed, and I think actually he went for the Roach Warren because he saw Blue Flame revealed from an earlier engagement. So he is going to have some Roaches out here, which are a good unit, obviously, against Hellions of any sort. The Hellion's going to try to do a run-by here, but it is very scary. You know, when you're a Terran player and you see this much creep, man, it is so spread out right now. It's like, man, I can't run across that area. That purple stuff is pretty scary. So what we're going to see here is PainUser probably try to drop a couple comsats. He might start to save up that energy now. In fact, he's got enough. Nope, he's going to drop a meal, but he will have enough for a comsat momentarily here, and he's probably going to start to receive the creep first before he even thinks about engaging into a hatchery. Also has another command center coming up in the background here for a total of 3, I believe. No macro CC this game, but that is, of course, because he went for this Blue Flame strategy. I do think that PainUser's opportunity here to do damage might be closing because Roaches are on the way, and here comes the comsat, and PainUser is kind of seeing all these creep tumors. It's like, what the hell? So many tumors! And, you know, comsats are pretty nice, but eventually they wear off, and boom, all of a sudden, hey, I didn't kill off all the tumors. A lot of more tumors to go through, and now PainUser trying to come up into the third, but there's a lot of Banelings and Zerglings here. Queens are kind of blocking the way. Baby Pho moves them out. Nice micro. Now the Zerglings and Banelings coming on the ground. So good on creep, man. They're so fast. PainUser, though, with some decent spreading. He did lose some Marines. He might have to back away here, though. Cannot lose his medevac. Oh, it goes down to the final Queen shot. And PainUser has got to pull back. That was not a successful attack, but he did trade decently with the Zerg player. It wasn't all that bad because remember, that's a lot of Banelings that detonated there. Banelings that otherwise would have been Zerglings. I don't think Baby Pho wanted to make Banelings that fast. Remember, I'm pretty sure, guys, he's going for the 3-hatch Broodlord all in here because he's got a Greater Spire coming already. 13 minutes in, the Greater Spire was started. And so I don't think he really wanted to make Banelings. And so in a way, losing all those Banelings was very detrimental to the Zerg. PainUser now coming in with the Blue Flame Hellions again, so wildly effective against Zerglings. It's like Charmander versus Bulbasaur, man. It is super effective. And finally, they do get picked off, but that was pretty devastating right there. And now PainUser, I really am a little bit worried for him because he's got to get Starport's down. There comes a second Starport, but he's got to get Vikings in production like right now, guys. Got to get that comsat in there as well. I don't even think he knows this is coming. The thing about playing TVZ is you got to drop the comsat to the right location. If you don't, you're not going to see that Greater Spire, and the Greater Spire is done. So Brood Lords are on the way. The all-in is coming from Baby Pho, and this is the Pho Special. I don't know how many versions of the Pho Special there are, but apparently when you play Zerg, there are many different varieties, all tastefully delicious. And PainUser is about to get the licking end of this. He has got to get Vikings out right now. You know, one grace for him is he does have 2 starports, 1 reactored, and he has another reactor core right here, so he can easily manipulate his add-ons here to get double starport reactor and get 4 Vikings out at a time. There he goes, there's another reactor too, so you won't have to cut Marine production either, but he's got to get Vikings out like right now. Unfortunately for him, does not have Xel'Naga tower control, doesn't have the early scout here, but he is going to get the Hellion inside. Now he's going to see the Brood Lords and everything coming underneath it. He's got to pull away. Oh my god, this army is so minuscule in comparison to this army. Now it's going to come down to PainUser's micro. Is his micro, like I said before, world-class Terran micro from what I've seen? Will he be able to hold off this all-in? This is going to be so hard to do. Comsat reveals the nightmare before his eyes, and he has got to get in position right now, sieging up the tanks, trying to hold the line here, getting the Vikings out. Only has 2 on the field. There aren't really that many Corruptors or Infestors, though, and I think that might be because Baby Pho had to make so many Baneleys earlier on, but it doesn't matter. Sending everything in right now. Attacks the tanks head on, picks off both tanks, and oh man, PainUser getting molesterated here. Many different versions of molested as well when you're a caster, but oh god, the Zerglings are coming in and harassing the SCVs, pushing them away. PainUser quickly gets them out of harm's way. They're going to try to get them back to mining at the natural. Meanwhile, the orbital command has been saved, but what in the world is he going to do about these Brood Lords? Even Queens in tow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the all-in from the Zerg player. There are only 3 or so Vikings on the field, and a handful of Marines on the ground. Will PainUser be able to hold off this attack? Vikings still dealing their volleys against these Brood Lords. He's trying to make 4 more Vikings at a time. Those 4 coming out will total it to 6. And the Marines just all falling back here. They will sacrifice civilians at the front. And note here, you know, PainUser not bothering to lift off his buildings. In a way, they're kind of being used as a sacrifice to buy time, so those Brood Lords don't just go straight for his army. And now he's bought enough time to get more Vikings out. Will PainUser be able to hold off the line here? Transfuse could drop down on the Brood Lords, but there's only 2 left, and PainUser knows he's got enough here. Sends in everything. 2 Infestors finally coming out, but the Infestors don't get fungal. Oh my god, they don't get fungal out. A miscue from the Zerg right there, from Pho. And if he had just been paying attention to that attack, I don't know what happened there, if he had been microing the Infestors or whatever. There were so many things going on. If he had, he would have been able to fungal that army, but unfortunately he did not. Now, let's just, you know, take a step back. Look at the units lost. 14,500 for the Zerg compared to just 9,100 for the Terran. So PainUser is ahead right now. He was able to hold off that all-in. That was incredible. Remember, he had nothing. He had nothing when that attack was coming, and he was somehow able to hold it off. My god. But there is one thing that we are not accounting for, that the Zerg player has the gold. This is the gold version of the map. I did make the gold version just for kicks and giggles. So that is something you have to account for here. So while PainUser might be ahead in supply, he doesn't have the eco boost that the Zerg has right now, although I guess meals kind of are a boosting of themselves, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens here. PainUser coming out, trying to control the mound here, will be able to push away the drones at the gold. He doesn't have siege tanks, so that's one thing that's kind of lacking in his army comp right now. So he can't exactly siege up on the high ground and start to push back the creep tumors and slow push his way over to the Zerg. But he's still got some decent mobility here, picks off the gold hatch, but we can see all the drones Madarting over to the side expansion. Now, did PainUser see those drones Madarting over or not? Looks like he's starting to make his way over to the right-hand side here, and Baby Pho knows all about that, sending his entire army here. He cannot afford to lose another hatchery. Right now it is 4 bases to 3 bases, and really, He's going to get the surround on these Marauders and Marines. Nice play. But like I said, really, you know, even though he lost the gold hatch, if you think about it, really nothing at all. It was just 300 minerals that he lost. In fact, he probably gained more than he lost because he was able to mine from these 5 stacks for quite some time. So, he's still got that 1 base advantage. In fact, about to have +2. And, you know, he's remacroing very, very quickly. Picks off the medevac at the bottom right as well. And that's exactly what he needs to do while, you know, kind of transitioning away from the all-in here. A good characteristic of a player that, you know, that understands the game very well, and he's doing a good job of that. But here comes PainUser. He knows that walking on the ground here is almost like a death trap. Look at the creep spread here, man. It is like damn near impossible to break through. How many tumors there are as well. So he's going to take to the skies, and it's very smart. This is a map where you have to attack through the skies. It's a great map for dropping, as I mentioned at the beginning of this cast. But there are overlords all in position. They're like key outpost positions detecting these incoming dropships, and I really think the Zerg will be able to hold this off pretty easily. In fact, it's only really 2 medevacs full, so the drop is going to get deflected. As soon as an Infestor or Baneling gets over here, that is going to be pretty much curtains. And oh no, PainUser not even paying attention there. Lets his Marines get absolutely devastated. And oh, the medevacs are going to go down as well. But meanwhile, in the middle of the map, PainUser utilizing the loss as more of a diversion to attack through the center and send a small strike squadron to the southeast. And this might be pretty effective here if he can take off this hatchery and maybe pick off a second one as well. Then the loss of the medevacs are all but justified, and here comes a big play from Pho, sending in all the Banelings and Zerglings straight through the middle. He ravages the ground biological units, but he's going to lose another hatchery. Not good at all. Baby Pho's got to be careful here about his economy, because the longer he plays like this, he will not have a constant stream of resources to work with. Although his bank is pretty high, he's still got to be very careful. It looks like he knows that. He burrows his drones to save them from disaster. Now, going to try to exact revenge. That's another way to win the eco war. If your economy is in shambles, you know, tear apart the other player's economy, and that's what he's doing right now. 51-71, still got the Harvester advantage. Burrows some Banelings as well, expecting the mules or the SCVs to run away, but oh, the ComSat drops down. Somehow PainUser knew that the Banelings were there. Very good awareness right now. And he's still got the gold, and all the fungals in the middle of the map. This is insanity. Oh, the fungal, the humanity of the SCVs going down. Devastating blow right there. And SCV account 42-9 now. PainUser at 40 under 71, so his Harvesters really not mining at all. He's making 20 minerals a minute, 0 now. So not good at all. He's got to get back to mining, and all of a sudden, man, really looks like the Zerg player kind of getting back in this game. In fact, way back in this game now, coming out with these Brute Lords, and he's still got control on the Zonaka Tower in the middle. This Planetary Fortress, his days are numbered. Will he be able to keep it alive? He's got to get these SCVs mining. So right now, he's not making any money, barely anything at all, but it looks like a huge attack here. Fungal comes down, all the Zerglings and the Broodlings eating everything up underneath. Now, this is going to be down to the Viking warfare against Brood Lords. You've got to micro these Vikings perfectly against the Brood Lords. If you get too close, then the Infestors can fungal them, and then it's curtains for the Vikings. So you got to be so careful. It's a meticulous dogfight through the skies. A couple Marines coming through the ground here, but they are instantly greeted by Zerglings and Banelings. And PainUser not even really mining. He's got to keep all his MSCs on repair, but all the SCVs in trouble here trying to run back home, and they do get away from that Baneling at the very last second. And it looks like it's just a constant struggle in the middle of the map. Such a close game right now for both these players, but Baby Pho will call the GG. And I think the reason for that, like I said, he cannot keep the constant war up because he doesn't have any income. That was the problem right there. He ran out of resources, did not have this base mining, both those bases went down, and eventually realized, you know what, I don't have any more money to play with, and I can't win. And then all those drones are like, where do we mine now? So wow, that was a really intense one. Game 3 going to PainUser, and that is going to put the series at 2-1. We're going to go to Game 4. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this is HD StarCraft signing out.